Hi, I suck. Welcome. It's CyberBuzz Radio once again. My name is Crimson Clad. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I wasn't watching the time because I was too busy answering people in chat. And the problem with that is I get so caught up answering you in chat that I fuck up everything else. Listen, I'm not a good DJ. It is what it is. You're just going to have to deal with it. But it is another Saturday. People are starting to wander in. It's super cool to see you. Thanks for spending your Saturdays with me. I always appreciate it. So CyberBuzz Radio, you guys know everybody who's here is like a chill long-termer. And we will probably have a chill long-term day today. It is raining also in Vancouver. I just want to throw that out there. It's raining. Hallelujah. It's raining. So CyberBuzz is a love affair with disruptive technology. We talk about blockchain, crypto. We talk about disruptive tech, weird, neon noir, sci-fi, cyberpunk kind of stuff. And we listen to synthwave music. And honestly, a lot of the time it's just me chatting and shooting the shit. And it's terrible, but you can't look away because it's like a train wreck. So it looks like we're live on all the platforms. I was a little worried because Vim TV was a little slow this morning, but I'm in the process of doing a bunch of overhauling. Best potato DJ, yes. So praise the sky tiers is very true. I live in Vancouver, BC, Canada, and we went 52 days without rain, which isn't officially a record, but we also went with record temperatures over and over and over and over again. And what that means is my entire province is a tinderbox and everything is on fire. So today is the first day I can wear a sweater. I'm relaxing. This room is not boiling. In theory, my computer is not going to immediately take off into the sky and launch away into the universe like it normally does when the fans ramp up. So what are we going to talk about today? I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about ETH and London and talk a little bit about decentralization if you guys want to. If you don't want to, no big deal. We don't have to. This is about what you guys want. Why? Because I'm stupid. Because I'm stupid. Did the notice give notice? I don't know what that means. I'm never quite on the same wavelength as Patient Zero, probably much to Patient Zero's chagrin. Well, you live there, Big Tom, and you know that where it rains is not where you live. You're used to the heat. We are not. I thought we'd talk a little bit about what's going on in the ETH ecosystem today. Maybe everybody's sick and tired of talking about it. Obviously, the US, once again, has had some super fun crypto legislation trying to be messed up on them. So we could talk a little bit about that if you guys want. And we can kind of play it by ear for today's topics. I have a lot of great music today, which I'm pretty stoked about. I'm happy to kind of get that going and just play a lot of cool electronic music and have kind of a ramp back in kind of day. And so I know we've got some new people over on Theta. Hi to you. I know people are hanging out on Trovo. Hi to you. And it's been slow. It's been slow around the Discord. Summer is here, and I think people are desperately trying to get out and about before sort of some of the uncertainty of the fall kicks in again. The media is in mega overdrive fear porn mode and about everything. But we shall certainly see. Solo's asking a great question about the Hive blockchain. He was saying that with the great increase of operations per block for Splinterlands, is it causing any issues with nodes keeping up? That's a great question because for some of you guys, if you are blockchain users, and we will talk a little bit about Hive, if you are Hive blockchain users, this last week has probably been a little fucky. And so basically over the course of the last 2 to 3 weeks, yes, you can use the shows command. You can also, if you want, you can subscribe. You can use the subscribe command to get a notification when I go live. But we'll talk a little bit about the Hive thing. And so the answer is yes and no, essentially. It tags CyberBuzz. Yeah, everything's okay. Everything should be good. I'm hoping here and there that people will show up when they feel like it, much like wizards do. But so let's come back to this node issue, because this is one of those topics that's a little crazy. So Splinterlands has really been doing well, which is always awesome to see. They are becoming, 3/4 of all the transactions in recent blocks have been Splinterlands. Now, that's incredible. They've been growing like crazy. They have been the main creator of Hive blockchain accounts. They're doing really cool stuff. And that's exciting to see, because blockchain gaming is not going away. We've talked about this on the show before, how neat it is to tie your digital assets to what is essentially an immutable account. And why does that matter? Everybody knows, you can't lose those cards. They can't disappear from you. If you work really hard leveling something up, you will always have that tied to you. And when you do want to sell it, it's a peer-to-peer transaction for you to be able to decide to sell an asset for a price. There are a lot of great reasons why the Hive blockchain is really going to change the way that gaming is done. And blockchain in general is going to change the way that we think of digital games and digital assets. But I digress. So Splinterlands has been taking off. It's a battling card game based on the Hive blockchain. But you can use almost any cryptocurrency to buy cards to start playing. And once you start playing, you can earn. Well, they've been exploding in users and everything else. And they've been seeing a pretty steady increase in transactions, like 30% or more, which is wild. And yes, they do actually solo, but it's not actually necessary, but we'll talk about it anyways. Hey, dudeness. So with the long and the short of it being, they are getting more and more popular, more and more battles, more and more transactions are being broadcast to the blockchain. And there was a pretty solid, noticeable, about 30% increase in usage to the blockchain. Now, that's a drop in the bucket. It's not really a big deal. But some of the nodes were getting stuffed up. Now, here's the thing. People were assuming that it was a scalability issue in that the nodes or the blockchain itself couldn't handle it. And that's not exactly true. One of the biggest issues that we found is some of the libraries and some of the ways that we were broadcasting transactions were quite slow. And so they'd get a little stuffed up and they might get bumped to another block. And if they get bumped to another block, then some transactions might get bumped again. And the problem is Hive is a very fast blockchain. And so what ends up happening is if you have transactions that do get bumped, that's fine. But unlike a blockchain like, say, ETH or Bitcoin, which has big fees and a series of sort of queuing that can go for quite a long time. You can have transactions waiting 15, 20 minutes, hours. The Hive blockchain actually has fast free transactions. It's good and bad in that if something gets bumped for too long, the transaction will expire. And so what that meant was we had a lot of brand new users who don't 100% understand our resource credit system, which is tricky. And we also had a bunch of people who were all playing simultaneously, and we were seeing that some of these transactions were expiring. The spinning circle of death. It's not great for a gaming experience. And then, of course, you've got other transactions mixed in there. So what it basically meant is not so much that the blockchain itself was overloaded. In fact, it's still, a lot of blocks were going through not full. But what we did find is that some of the broadcasts that were being made were either timing out or they were being made in a way, without getting too technical, they're being made in a way that some nodes that had not fully upgraded were not sure how to order and process. So what this means, without getting too technical, but for the people, orphaned blocks, no, not quite. It basically meant that some nodes weren't actually trying to put as many transactions in a block as they could. And so when you have an underutilized block, that's not super helpful. And when you have a transaction that's waiting on the sideline to get stuffed in a block, but a node's looking at it and going, nah, that transaction expires. And the person on the other end doesn't see any of this. This is the beauty of blockchain, and we know that, right? We don't see what's kind of automatically happening in the background. We know we broadcast a transaction and a couple seconds or minutes, or depending on which blockchain you're using, hours go by, then it comes back and it says, okay, but we're spoiled with a fast blockchain like Hive. And so a lot of people using Hive see their transaction expire and they go, well, fuck this. So over the last week, one of the coolest things that's been kind of happening in the background is a number of libraries have been rewritten. And what that is programming languages that help websites, apps, things that you use as a user, talk to the blockchain, languages to talk to the blockchain. They've been rewritten to be faster, to be better, to kind of use blocks a little more intelligently. And you may have noticed if you use one of our blogging front ends like PeakD, that it's blazing fast now. There's been some incredible work kind of going on behind the scenes. Madi Yari has been working on the JavaScript libraries, Hive.js, and I think dHive as well. And the changes are really noticeable. But we do still, of course, have a ton of transactions going through Splinterlands, and it's not going to stop. So this was a really awesome chance to kind of look at, hey, we've got organic increase in traffic. Where are the places that we can make things go smoother and better? Because we already know the blockchain is scalable, but how do we start working with transactions, operations? How do we start making things go a little better for people using Hive services? Why not? It's really useful because often you have to use a testnet, or you have to spam the chain with a fake account or something like that. To get higher activity that you can then use to test with is pretty fucking cool. So that is something that has been improving all over the place. Hi, Maddie! I know, and as somebody who probably doesn't use Hive, Maddie's probably like, when are we going to do something fun? Soon, I promise. Degenitron, oh my gosh, the abs and Metanoia. You guys sound like the most fun. Group of Transformers I've ever fucking seen. And Rebecca, I haven't seen Rebecca in ages. She's a champ. Rebecca's a champ. All right, so Theta's having a fucking fun time. That's for sure. Are we having a raid and everybody's farting? That's fucking exciting. Okay, so techno farts it is. But kind of to wrap up this topic about Hive, if you guys from Theta are not playing Splinterlands, if you want to play Splinterlands, let me know. Say in the chat, and I will follow up with you guys, and I will help you get on Splinterlands if you want. So for people on Hive, yes, last week felt really weird. Blockchain transactions didn't make a lot of sense. They were kind of weird. There were things that were timing out. We're doing fabulous. Yes, you guys are my group of little farty metallic transformers over on Theta. I don't know what you're doing over there, but it seems like you're having a great time. So whatever you have, share it with the rest of the class, okay? So if you've been around Hive and you're like, man, shit has been timing out. The blockchain hasn't been working the way I wanted. Well, guess what? Most of that is fixed, and it's pretty exciting because it's been organic, and it's one of those things where it's not an attack, it's not a DDoS, it's not the blockchain failing, but it does mean that we've had a lot of work done around Hive to... Yay! You just met me 10 seconds ago, and now we're all friends. Long and the short of it, blockchain is cool. The Hive blockchain is scaling. It's fast, it's free, and there's a bunch of fucking cool games. And there's shows like this one where you guys are watching on Theta, on Trovo, on Vim TV, which is another blockchain-based streaming site, trying to take down their schmoogle, trying to take down the big incumbent players who are fucking over a lot of young streamers, right? Or small streamers. Oh, thank you. So the long and the short of it is the Hive blockchain is always going to be a work in progress. It's kind of weird because we think of blockchain as this sort of magical entity that often has a group associated with it, a company associated with it. But Hive doesn't work that way. It's a bunch of fucking nerds on the internet who kind of forked off a blockchain and are trying to make something really cool and community-based. So I'm one of those nerds. Many of you guys are one of those nerds. If you're worried that things are going to continue being a little hinky, I would say poke around this week. You'll see things are faster than ever. But we go through growing pains, and it's good and bad, right? It's great to know that there's a natural growth, that people are getting excited about blockchain gaining. They're getting excited about earning tokens because maybe they're streaming with their Transformer buddies, or maybe they are engaged. Yeah, Jiren, hey, perfect. Hello, I haven't seen you in ages. So Jiren here is actually one of the ones who is the creator of Vim. He's one of the reasons that we're all out here streaming for crypto. It's the beginning of something fabulous, but certainly the Hive blockchain, in my mind, kind of makes us a little bit more connected. And I am hoping, yes, so Schmoogle knows, Schmoogle does a lot of sort of programming and he's running a node in the background. There's a lot going on. Hive.js, that change in just how we broadcast transactions allowed nodes and apps to be a lot smarter with what they're doing. And for you guys, for people who don't care, for people who are like, oh my God, this bitch is never going to shut up about, blockchain transactions. For you guys, what that means is better service, better apps, faster things around your blockchain games or around your services, which matters. Think about it. If you go to another website and you click on it and it's taking you too long to do something, what do? You close the website. You say, fuck this shit, and you peace out. So this is a thing that's really going to matter, especially when you are locking information into a blockchain where it's immutable, it's attached to you, and you take that data with you wherever you go. It's not somebody else's fast private database like Twitter or Facebook or Twitch or whomever. Getting this right matters, and the last week has been a real step forward in that. But yeah, if you're around the Hive blockchain, it's probably been really annoying. So listen, today I have a lot of music picked out. I want to play a lot of synthwave for you guys. I should probably make a tweet so people actually show up. Hey, random internet guy. I know Theta is bumping right now. The whole Transformers team is there. I kind of imagine you guys are like Soundwave. Remember Soundwave? He had the little cassette guys that he would open up and the little cassette guys would come out. I've forgotten their names. Come on, nerds, help me out here. But I'm kind of picturing all of you guys came along together. Like Degenitron is like the big one. And then all of the rest of you just kind of came along with it. So yes. His dudeness just popped in message in the Discord. So if you see this, I will absolutely random internet guy. If you see a message like this, an error has occurred revealing your team. It's too late to submit a team for this battle. What that basically means, everybody with their farts. What this basically means is that transaction didn't get included in the block quick enough. That stinks. That's not fun. Those aren't fun games. And while nodes can handle this better, Splinterlands has chosen to take some of these things out of the blockchain. It's good and bad. It's going to make the app faster. It does mean that for things like replays or whatnot, some of this information won't be decentralized anymore. Maybe that matters to you, maybe it doesn't. You'll have to figure it out. We could talk a little bit more about Oriel. I'm very excited with some of their stuff. That's a blockchain-based Fartigus. You had to stink up a place. No, you're welcome. Is everybody coming with you? Are you the leader? I thought it was Degenitron, but maybe it's you. Maybe you're the Soundwave with all the little cartridges coming out of him. Cassette tapes? God, I was born in that era. You'd think I know what they were called. Yeah. All right. Let's continue on. What I want to do is I want to play some synthwave for you guys. That's the other half of CyberBuzz. And so many of you guys come every week, and you know very well that half of the show is me just talking out my ass about tech stuff. And the other half is kind of that cool Blade Runner vibe, that weird, dark synthwave, cyberpunk-esque vibe that is at the heart of a lot of like dystopian tech. And we talk about that sometimes too. Sometimes we don't talk about blockchain at all. We just talk about how, the Apple version of space where everything is white and shiny is stupid. And we don't like that. So I want to play you a lot of music today if you guys are cool with that. And I was thinking that I would actually start with a track called Vampire Vania. And it's by, yes, Aztec and Blade Vibes. You got it, bro. I should just name the show that. Forget CyberBuzz. From now on, it's Aztec and Blade Vibes. That's my jam. You're part of the fart squad. I need a squad. I mean, I have the Full Force Radio No Pants Piranhas. I don't think I have a CyberBuzz squad. But let me play you something. This album is great. It's off an album called All or Nothing. It's from 2018. And look at all the farts. The farts coming out of my Aztec. This is rough. It's a rough day. It's going to be rough. I suspect that we are going to have to break into the bourbon soon, just for me to get through this next hour or so successfully. So I want to play this track for you, Jeremiah Kane. It is kind of like dark synth. It's got a little bit of a darker industrial edge to it. It's good fun. Cyber Squad loves the music here, so let's do it. let's let's come up with what we're going to call the CyberBuzz squad. And also, I actually now have a Theta account, and in theory, I should have already been streaming to my own Theta account for these shows, but I'm not there yet. Probably next week, I will not only be going through the station, which is MSP Waves. You can see more about MSP Waves at mspwaves.com, surprisingly enough. But I will probably be going under the Crimson Clad name on Theta as well, because God damn it, give me that money. No, that's bad. Don't give me your money. Just come and hang out. It's fine. Fuck! The farts are throwing me off so bad. You know, you guys have no idea. You've never been here for a Full Force Radio. My other show is called Full Force Radio. It is heavy metal and sass talk. And I bless your souls that you think that this is the worst thing that's happened on my stream, is a bunch of farts flying in through the window. Techno farts, even, which is what I'm going to call you from now on. So I've got the Hive guys who are here every week. They know how it goes. The new techno farts have wafted in through an open window. And we're going to do CyberBuzz. So the track is called Vampire Vania, and it's got a whole, like, if a vampire was a sex robot working in, like, the underground streets of, like, I don't know, some cyberpunk, like, techno brothel. It's fantastic. Let's do it. All right, so CyberBuzz Radio, my name is Crimson Clad. I'm here every Saturday doing this. I'm here on Thursdays doing that. I don't know, come find me, tell me what you want, and I will probably ignore you, but sometimes, every now and again, you guys have a good idea, and I take it on board. Vampire Vania on CyberBuzz Radio. Oh, better if you could hear it, right? Let's turn it on. Yes, it is good. All right, there you go. Jeremiah Kane. It's a track called Vampirevania. So yeah, absolutely Castlevania inspired. And Clay was mentioning La Castlevania, who there is sort of like a whole synthwave artist that does sort of like really aggressive synthwave based around that kind of sound. And he actually has a side project as well that's really good. But yeah, dubstep. Dubstep is one of those things that like really sort of underground hardcore dubstep is not for me, but you're right, there are a lot of crossovers, which of course on Full Force Radio, when I'm talking about metal, everybody loves a subgenre. And of course, dubstep has been crossed with everything in the past. So glitch is probably like a subgenre that I really enjoy. And it kind of has some of the same characteristics as dubstep, but overall your wobble-ubs and your dub-dubs and your whatever else, I don't know any terms from the dubstep community, but whatever the kids are doing these days, I'm not one of them. I'm sorry. But yeah, good stuff by Jeremiah Kane. All or Nothing. It is fucking awesome. So highly recommended. Please check it out. So I've got a drink. We're laughing because it's a shot glass. Yes, actually a listener sent me this. A Full Force Radio listener sent me this. I love this glass so much with the nice little copper bullet embedded in the side. It's actually called the Lucky Shot. Fun. All right. So when we started the show today, we were talking a little bit about the Hive blockchain and things that have been happening over the last couple weeks with high transactions and crazy stuff happening, the growth of Splinterlands, and how the community kind of came together to work on some of the different libraries that help apps and dubstep was still, yes, Transformers having sex or angry computers screaming at you. It was the beginning of Skynet, right? So, all right. So with the second little bit of the show, because I do want to play a lot of music today, which is, I'm not always good at it. For those of you who are here all the time, you can chime in if you want, but I don't ever really shut up, which can be problematic at the best of times. But when I don't shut up, the joy of it is you get more things to make fun of. And so, the world keeps turning and everything works out for the best. Now, everybody's in the crypto space. One of the things that obviously is lighting everybody up right now, we could kind of talk a little bit about some of the stuff, U.S. regulations that have been, being tried to push through right now with crypto surveillance. Or we could talk a little bit more about what's going on with ETH, because of course ETH had its EIP London was successfully enacted yesterday. And so this is kind of on the road to ETH 2.0. And people, boy, oh boy, I will. Hologram by Felicity. Thank you. I will make a note of it because I do take all of the music recommendations on this show. I love music. I don't care what kind it is, unless it's country, in which case you should feel bad and it's bad. But I always take all the music recommendations because my library is huge and so many of you guys also follow me back for music suggestions as well. So it's one of those things, the more that I'm exposed to, the more I can expose other people to. Let's face it, here on Full Force Radio or CyberBuzz or whatever day it is, whatever show this is, probably CyberBuzz, my job is to expose myself while exposing you. Country is death. Yeah, country is it's not my favorite, and that's okay. And if you like country, that's fine. I just don't have to like country with you. Okay, so ETH right now, it's from Montreal. Oh yeah, a bunch of us here are from Montreal. I'm trying to get back to Montreal, hopefully in October of this year. Who knows? COVID and Montreal's got a vaccine passport coming, so we'll see how that sort of thing happens and plays out. It's going to be interesting. So one thing that I did want to quickly talk about was kind of everything that's going on with ETH, because if you are involved in the blockchain space, you will know people are losing their ever-living minds. Some people are so excited about this. You don't think you can expose yourself on Twitch unless you're a Linity. Yeah, I know. There's a bunch of really attractive thoughts on Twitch, and I'm not one of them. And that's unfortunate because I guess they make a lot of money. And that means they can do more streaming, which is one thing that I haven't cracked yet, is quitting my job and just streaming all the time. But if it means I have to be unkind to animals and put a hot tub in my house, Why don't I just keep playing music for free? Yeah, Viking Adventurer does know. That's right. So, yes, every 3 seconds a witnesses would have to 1099. So that's talking a little bit more. About some of these new rules around proof of stake blockchains as opposed to proof of work. Now, we've talked about that on this show before. And oh my goodness, main event. Hi, Maine. I hope you're doing fabulous. We've talked a little bit about the differences between proof of stake and proof of work, and many of you who are involved with Hive or other blockchains or other cryptocurrencies probably know the difference. But the biggest one right now is that the US government has just passed or is trying to pass. I think the vote is today. I don't live in the US, so I'm not as up on it as I should be. But they're essentially trying to make all of the transactions that a miner who would be based in the US or proof of stake miner based in the US would have to basically completely dox themselves. Now, blockchain is a pretty anonymous or pseudo-anonymous space. Even myself, one of the things that I've definitely struggled with over the past 4 years, 5 years of streaming, teaching about blockchain, getting involved in the decentralized crypto space is that staying even pseudo-anonymous can be difficult, especially when you're streaming. You guys see my face, you know what I look like. And then, the more that I share with you, the harder it is to kind of keep who I actually am in real life, in meat sack world, a secret, which isn't horrible. But when we talk about government interference, and one of the big things that we love to hate on is government interference, right? Many of us are searching for social platforms. We are searching for streaming platforms. We're searching for content platforms that allow us to connect more meaningfully, that allow us to monetize content without the government and big tech's fingers in it, and also that we can sort of decide for ourselves what's appropriate for us to consume and support, which we know government is not always great for allowing you to make decisions like that. And they want a piece of every single fucking thing that you do. Now, Bitcoin kind of being the first and the best, as we want to call it, just for simplicity's sake, since everyone will come for me. Bitcoin was specifically developed to allow myself and, say, the fart squad over here, the wafting farts, or myself and Julia, or myself and one of the other DJs, or, Solo for doing editing that I never even use like an asshole, for us to transact value between each other. It doesn't matter what the government wants or thinks or is going to do. You and me, we decide on something, and I say, I'm going to pay you for it. And you say, cool, I'm going to take payment. And that's it. There's a handshake and we do it. We don't need anybody else's permission. And that is the absolute most important part of blockchain. You do not need anyone's permission to work with your keys, your wallet, your funds, anything that's attached to a cryptocurrency account, but Bitcoin specifically. No one can stop you from sending, holding, moving, transacting value using Bitcoin. So fuck the government. Yeah, and you know what? I feel like you came out ahead in that deal, my man. Government talk time. No, and you know what? It's not a tinfoil hat. So here's the thing. I'm actually, and you'll see a lot of people in the Hive community will be upset at me for saying this, I'm actually pro-small government, and I'm very pro-small government. I believe that we have to do things as a community. We have to have rules that we all agree on. The thing is, the rules have to make sense. We have to use resources wisely, and really big government doesn't do a good job of representing the needs of a lot of people around the country. Think of Canada. Think of Canada for a second, because that's where I live. You have a fuck off huge country. It's huge. Now, people in Quebec, on the other side of the country, people on the East Coast, they have incredibly different needs than people over here on the West Coast in British Columbia. We are essentially two different countries. And so borders, are important and whatnot. And, again, everybody's going to disagree or agree on this. But where I'm going with this is you can do small government things. You can manage community resources. You can have social programs that aren't just, disastrous waste of money. Things like elder care, really important. Everybody should be pitching in. Things like that. You can have government that works, but it has to be smaller. And for many of us, that's not the case anymore. All the government wants to do is find ways to liberate you of your money. That is a fucking problem because we've strayed so far from the idea of let us elect people that, represent us, will use our money in a way that all of us can benefit from. And we're going to contribute to that voluntarily. So crypto is about voluntarism. It's about participating in the things that you believe are worth participating in. And it's also nobody can take funds from you or force you to do an action that you do not want to do. And that's really meaningful in a time where governments around the world, it's not the US, it's not just Canada, all sorts of governments are creating incredible overreaches. And there needs to be some way to level that out. People electing governments often elect people who are terrible at it. We don't make good choices as a community or as countries, but there are people in the world who have never been able to open a bank account. They live in a dictatorship or they live in an area where job prospects are poor. And all of a sudden, for whatever reason, you need crypto. Maybe you don't need it at all. Maybe you just believe in privacy rights very strongly. There's so many reasons why crypto might be a good choice for you. You are able to make decisions for yourself. Now imagine for a second, we've talked about this and we won't go down the rabbit hole because that was a day where I cried on camera because it was so meaningful. Yeah, basically, Big Brother could take a fucking hike. Everybody should hike. The outdoors is beautiful. It's healing for your soul. Go take a forest bath. Here are people in El Salvador, for example, the most murdery place in the world. Many of them grow up. They're never even able to open a bank account. They work in oops, sorry guys. That's ASMR, I promise. That was on purpose. It's so you can listen to this sound. Yeah, so Belgium. The government will find 10,000 ways to pull the money off you so 100 ministers can have $7,000 a month. Exactly. Somewhere along the way, shit got fucked up, right? And that's the reality. Our struggle as humans is, can we create and continue moving towards greatness without destroying it? And the answer, in general, historically, is no. But we are moving towards that techno future. We are moving towards perhaps the Star Trek version of the future, where we are constantly working towards making ourselves better. How can we integrate technology to create a better social life, to take care of the people around us, to be better to our planet, and to allow for more freedoms? This is the struggle of human nature. So if you're interested in the struggle of human nature, get into crypto. Canadians are brain dead. I speak as a man born in Canada. Guess you'll just pee your pants. Degenitron, you're obviously not that much of a degenerate if you don't have a piss bottle. This is the internet. Piss bottle game weak, bro. Can't believe I just said that on air. So the reality is we could talk about this all day. And if you're interested in this topic, we actually have a bunch of streams on MSP Waves like Clown World and Meadows and Makers and... Often Clay talks about this on Coffee and Philosophy. There are a lot of people who really explore these topics because they're really relevant to us, right? All of us that are here, content creators, content consumers, people are trying to, get into a new space of earning money or supporting themselves. People who want to, be social in a digital and global world. Whatever fucking reason you're here for. If you literally are just someone just sitting there with a piss bottle, flicking through channels, why ever you're here, it's a fascinating topic. So, the world is your piss bottle. Viking Adventure. The world is your piss bottle. And yeah, hashtag Crim 2021. Piss bottle game week, bro. Should we play some music? All right, so listen, I'm going to play a track by an artist called After. Dead Life. What does MSP stand for? Great question. We're the Minnow Support Project, and we're on a server that we call PalNet, which is peace, abundance, and liberty. The things we want in life: peace, abundance, and liberty, which what everybody should be striving for themselves and others. But we are a decentralized social broadcasting network. So basically a radio station, but with video, like this, like we're doing right now. And we are community run, and all of the DJs are community members. And for those of you, like Maddie showed up earlier, we have music in between shows, and all of the music is independent artists who are publishing music on the blockchain. So the whole idea behind this station, this Discord, and all of the projects that we do here are and an empty piss bottle. And an empty piss bottle. We'll have to massage that before Christmas. The whole purpose of this station, of my show, of you, of entertainment is, what are we looking for that will be fun, that will be social, that will be more healthy than, a fucking Facebook algorithm jamming crap down your throat day after day, or PayPal deciding to demonetize you, or YouTube taking away your subscribers because you don't know how many you had. You just know you logged into Twitter. I'm not good at Twitter. I don't tweet a lot. I don't twat a whole bunch. But I've hit 3,000 followers 2 or 3 times, and I think I'm back down to 1,600 or something. I don't fucking know. So the reality comes back to, we are here. We are here to engage with each other. We're here to, make a bit of money if we can. We're here to create content. We're here to support independent artists. We're here to encourage people who want to stream and become a DJ to do that. We're here to encourage people who want to consume content to find stuff that's fun. And just kind of make a little bit of a better digital world for ourselves, right? That's all. So that's CyberBuzz Radio in a nutshell, or in a piss bottle, or wherever CyberBuzz ends up for you. We're actually not even halfway through the show yet, which is so cool. I will say, I don't have Restream chat spamming you guys with annoying messages today, but I will kind of put it out there that I will be streaming to Theta. If you do want to come back for another show, you can follow the station, or you can follow myself. I'm Crimson Clad. You can find me everywhere. Vim TV, Trovo, which is another streaming site, and yes, Twitch and YouTube and whatever. So if you want to come and hang out and party every week, stick around. Let's do some more music. So Dead Life is an incredibly awesome synthwave artist, and he just put out a new album, and it is a banger. It's a great album. So I'm going to play you a track called Afterlands. The new album is called God in the Machine, which some of the days that we do kind of tech philosophy, we often talk about this idea, the way that we worship and understand tech, the way that tech impacts our lives. We talk about sort of the design and aesthetics of emerging technology. There's lots of stuff we've talked about this show, but the idea of a God in the machine, a ghost in the machine. Do you do your own Theta channel? Yes, Anarchist has hooked me up. I have a Theta account. I haven't started using my stream key yet. So I don't know if you can follow me if I haven't started streaming or I don't have a stream key, but I am on Theta as well. I'm Crimson Clad. So that is hopefully in the next couple weeks. I've been streaming to Theta with MSP Waves for like 4 years now, or however long Theta's existed. We haven't been on Theta probably that whole time. Hey, Jay Dewey's. Hey, Dewey. But I do want to start doing it for myself, because the idea is, too, I have other content that, kind of steps away from the Waves. The Waves is a cool entity that you should follow anyways. Lots of shows, lots of DJs, maybe even you guys someday. What about Raging Against the Machine, though? Yeah, Ghost in the Machine, God in the Machine, Rage Against the Machine. What else is in the machine? I mean, Cat in the Machine in the winter. You got to thump your car hood. Whatever. Good album. We'll go down the philosophical sort of implications of how machines and emerging tech are changing our lives later, if you guys want. But my name is Crimson Clad. This is CyberBuzz. I'm here every Saturday. I do this show, and we talk about whatever the fuck you guys want. And I'm going to play you a track by Dead Life. And so I am going to spirit in the material world. Well, I mean, we're all going to end up ghosts in the machine at this rate, especially when we all use blockchain, which is a cool idea. Maybe we'll come back to this and we'll talk about it at your washes in the machine. Everybody's a comedian. Rage Against the Ghost of the God in the Machine. In the washing machine. We're never going to get to this track. Afterlands. Dead Life. Crimson Clad. Farts and Hive. This album art is fucking cool too. All right. It's a really good album. It's got these sort of bright, hopeful kind of major scale sounds, which I'm going to turn off. And it's also got these dark industrial techno, like the computers are coming to eat me kind of thing going on. So listen, CyberBuzz Radio. My name is Crimson Clad. I'm here every week. Today we've been talking about a little bit of everything. You know, normally I have a little bit more of a show planned out and we hit some topics, or I do an interview, or, you know, I've got a synthwave artist that I'm kind of featuring. And so, yeah, I mean, technically you can't really see it, but right here behind me, where I'm really bad at pointing because everything's reversed, but here-ish is that Tommy 86 Transhumanism album. It is excellent. Yes. So one other thing is Maddie was asking about some of the music that was in the stream that was between DJs. You can go to mspwaves.com and we actually have all of that music available there. You can go, you can request tracks to play on the station. You can look up the blockchain profiles of the artists. You can send a tip if you want. So yes, and you'll also be able to see what was playing, what is playing, what's coming up next. It's really cool. MSP Waves is something that members of the PalNet community, MSP, have worked so hard on. Rondon's not here, but he is our station manager. Abigail Honey, our resident alien, does a ton of work organizing, cataloging, getting new artists onto the rotation. I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of MSP Waves. It's a really cool thing. And it is the reason that I got into live streaming. It's the reason I got into becoming what I guess is a radio DJ. And that's opened up a lot of opportunities for me. I'm working on a contract right now for another crypto company. I'm helping them with some stuff. And so things are really exciting. Yes, you have to go to the Jukebox page because right now it's going to be showing that my show is playing. I'll help you out in a little bit with some with some links in a minute. So yes, we were just playing Dead Life, God in the Machine. Good new album. Highly recommended. I dropped the Bandcamp link in chat, and I'm going to start doing that a little bit more often. I'm also going to try and, shout out more artists on Twitter because they totally appreciate it and they're super cool. And I hope that maybe, just maybe, me sitting here screeching about piss bottles will in some way benefit someone. But so today we talked a little bit about the Hive blockchain, and we talked about Splinterlands, and we talked about an increase in transactions, which is pretty cool. And if you're not a Hive blockchain user, then I guess that doesn't matter to you at all. But it still kind of makes us think about what happens when everyone in the world starts using things that are tied to or using or powered by some sort of blockchain technology. Now, in a lot of cases, you don't necessarily need to have blockchain. And this is one of those things that, the maximalists of all sorts will say, well, yes, you do. But the reality is, the best way to think of blockchain, especially if you're not a blockchain user, is a database that everyone can see and everyone can verify. Now, in some situations, that's not going to be very useful. You know what I mean? When it comes to, Big Tom, when it comes to an app, or, a private centralized service, in some cases, it's not going to be very useful. But in other cases where you're worried about, a single point of failure, where you are interested in having more control over your finances or your data or the connections that you make with other people, blockchain is really going to change the way we think about it. It's a little bit Degenitron. Thank you. Well, I'm very glad that you and the rest of the farts wafted my way because you're very sweet smelling because, we have a couple screens in between us. So thanks for coming out. Delightful. And yes, everyone has indirectly benefited by piss bottles, which is, probably true in one way or another. We're talking about the big... Farticus is actually going to he's going to cover a song called Pee Pee in a Bottle. Fantastic. I mean, listen, if the one thing that I can do for you today is bring into your subconscious and your awareness that piss bottles have changed your life, then boy, oh boy. Yeah, okay, so this is the thing that happens on Full Force Radio and all of my streams is somebody in chat suggests one thing, and then we just fucking beat that horse into the ground, and we never let it go, and it will come up forever in every show for the next 5 years. We're still talking about fucking glory holes on a plane, and that was a Full Force Radio episode from 2017. We're still talking about it. We are caught in the past, which is hilarious because we're a giant community of idiots and led by Queen Idiot who are so focused on the future, and yet our glory days of streaming come back to haunt us. And all of my glory days are like dicks, piss, Crim's an idiot, wow, she's bad at streaming. And we just roll with it. We just roll with it. So, listen. Can you hear my stomach? Damn it. If it goes again, I'll try and put the microphone to it. People love that. People love this weird, body noise shit. I don't know, man. Oh, it's something. Hit that. What is it? What are all the cool kids saying? Smash that like and subscribe. Pew, 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 pew. Something like that. Should we play more music? Before we... He's got to go. Goodbye. Lucky job. I hope your piss goes well, sir. Let's play one more track. And then we'll come back and we'll be in the second hour of the show. I do want to talk with you guys and some of you guys that are a little more blockchain attuned. I want to talk to you about the idea of proof of stake and some of the burning that's happening in this new EIP for ETH. And I do want to talk a little bit more about whether you think proof of stake or proof of work is more decentralized, because this is one thing that I am seeing everywhere, that everyone is talking about. Everyone is talking about sort of the pros and cons, that they love this, that they hate it. And of course, we're saying that the future is going to be more decentralized. That is, a lot of us believe that wholeheartedly. And it's very interesting to see all the different takes on some of these changes in evolving crypto and blockchain spaces. Some people real mad at it. Some people fucking salty. Some people really excited. And I'm curious to know what you guys think. So we'll talk more about it, but fuck it. Let's play some more music. I love Occam's Laser. We've said that many a time. I feature his music a lot on this show. He is a cool dude who doesn't afraid of anything. He's really accessible out on social media and often puts his discography on... Damn it, my stomach. He often makes his music available at incredible prices. He's a really cool artist that is really passionate about what he does. Makes good tracks. So I am going to play you a track called Broken Tone. It's just a short one. And it's off an album called Tension, which is older. But I'm going to play this for you guys. We'll rock out to this and then we'll come back and we will kind of see where things go. And I still haven't tweeted, which means a lot of people aren't here for the show that normally would show up. I'm terrible at this. I'm going to get it. I'm going to figure it out one of these days. But that day is not this day, my friends. So let's do it. Let's do some Occam's Laser. My name is Crimson Clad. This is CyberBuzz Radio. And you are listening to MSP Waves. There you go. Occam's Laser, track called Broken Tone. All right, so let me come back around. Let me check out what's going on in chat because I was in another, whatever. That Ivan Atmit song is nowhere. Miami Nights 84. Yes, very cool. All right, so let's, and yes, it's all right. Metallica is a contentious topic here, but on Full Force Radio, if you guys like heavy metal, a lot of melodeath, sometimes thrash, a lot of death metal, black metal, not as much. But anyways, if you like metal and you like even more ridiculous chat, then you should come for Full Force Radio. It is a good fucking time. Yeah, Ivan Atman. So if I go to, let's go to mspwaves.com. Let's see. So let's go to, where's the jukebox and how come you can't find it very easily? That's not very good. That's something that's problematic. You guys should be able to get to the jukebox much, much easier. I realize how difficult this would be for you now. Holy crap, just by looking at it. So just for people who are interested in MSP Waves as a station, what we're going to do is I'm going to find you guys some links from the jukebox. I'm going to get you there. Box. And I'm going to take you to that page. So let me grab it. Here is the Jukebox page. It has all of our artists. It has all of the requests. And this will definitely be helpful for you. Although I will notice that the website has shit CSS and you can't read any of the fonts. So listen. This station is a volunteer effort and I will have to help fix it. But the reason that I bring this up is so if you are actually looking for an artist, Ivan, and as soon as I put Ivan in, all of his tracks come up. So I think the track that you were looking for was Truth in its purest form, and you can find his artist link there. You can click on him, you can see his profile picture. I could see ways we can make this better. So I will do one last thing here. peakd.com/Ivan. And let's see if I can get you hooked up with some of his work because it's great. And then you can request it and you can listen to it anytime you want. Here he is, composer, designer. You could probably find some of his piano sessions and some of his work. Here, boom, there you go. All right, so now that we're working on that. Yeah, you know, it's funny because, Julia, I was just looking, and that's exactly how I got to it. I clicked on the webhook link, and it took it to the page. But you know what? There's so much work that we can improve on MSP Waves. So I will work on NFT Showroom, but I will also put some time into doing some improvement work on MSP Waves. You have my word. I am a graphic designer and a web developer, and I will make some efforts to try and fix some of this. Because it's not user friendly, and that's always bad. All right, so coming back around, we've often talked about design around the areas of blockchain and apps and things like that. So, you know, we can kind of go down that road, or we can continue to talk about cryptocurrency, ETH, and some of you guys who are very anti-government, we could talk a little bit more about that. I don't have any more planned topics for the day today. I picked some up, and then I thought, okay, now you know what, you guys, we'll do whatever you guys want to do. But at the same time, I just realized YouTube chat is not working. Why is that? That's dumb. I apologize. So for those of you guys who are watching on YouTube, I fucked you. What else is new? Son of a biscuit. And yes, so now that we are coming back around and I'm looking at the chat, we could talk a little bit about Oreo, because this is one thing that I just learned the other day. I was schooled that, what's that terrible gated voice app? Clubhouse. Clubhouse is now available to people on Android. Now, I don't particularly care about it, but I will say that this is a trend that probably isn't going away. Twitter has, I believe they're called Spaces now. Discord created Stages, and Clubhouse started it all. The idea that we can just have open voice chat rooms, anyone can hop in, you can have an event, you can have moderators. This has become something that's really normal for us, and it wasn't previously. Now, is this a pandemic thing, do you think? I don't know. But often we've had one person talking or a couple people talking on stream, streaming to other people. The idea of a collaborative voice space is still really new. And for a while there, Clubhouse really made it popular just because it was one of those things. It was the cool kids club. Not everybody could get in. And weirdly enough, people latched onto this idea of like, you mean it's like a party line call? Which has been relevant, in decades? It's a thing that people are talking about. And it's a thing that crypto space people specifically are really, really enjoying. But also, I've noticed artists in the crypto space are also using a lot. And I find this fascinating. So if you are looking for the ability to join one of these voice spaces, to kind of search around for a topic that you like and not just consume the stream, but actually participate in conversations, Oriole, the app, and I'll type it because everybody thinks I'm saying Oreo the cookie. But Oriole is an app running on the Hive blockchain that has released these spaces as well. And why this is very cool, if you're kind of creating one of these voice rooms, these voice stages, is that streamers can use them directly to make a podcast and upload a podcast to monetize it and to other podcast networks. So this is one of those things that we're starting to see. Content is being shared between platforms, between programs, between whatever else. Hey, Uncle Bonehead. Uncle Bonehead is one of the ones who's been really helping out with that. And I know, Uncle Bonehead, the other day, you actually embedded it on your website, going live while recording the podcast, while uploading it to the Hive blockchain. That's totally fine. I can't hear you nor see you, so you go wherever you want to go, my man. So I won't stay on this topic very much because I know not everybody's interested in it right now, but this is often a topic that comes up for us here on the show. The idea that I want what I do to be available to anyone, and I want them to be able to use it from whatever app makes them the most comfortable. And the idea that I can post, distribute, monetize in a way that I control and then push it out to other places, including embedding it on my own website, which up to this point, really expensive thing to do. For a lot of people, it's either really high tech or really expensive. It's interesting that these things that started out in gated, shitty, Apple-centric communities are now being developed in ways that are taking sort of advantage of the decentralized ecosystem, that are taking advantage of monetizing via crypto, that are taking advantage of you building all these connections, followers and fans and people you want to connect with, and not allowing a centralized platform to remove those people from you. It's fucking cool. So check it out. Listen, so now that I know that everybody's here and we're no longer talking about piss bottles for the moment, I will play a little bit more music. It's been a music heavy day, but at the same time, I'm kind of chilling. The rain is finally falling in British Columbia. I've got more work to do around the house. I've got lots on my mind, but at the same time, I'm always looking out for stuff that you guys want to talk about. So if you have a topic that's on your mind, if you have something that you want to talk about, let me know and we'll hit that. Otherwise, I think we will come back around and we may discuss some cool ways of making art. And we'll talk a little bit more about different ways of experiencing and creating digital art, because that's always a popular topic on this show. And it's something that I personally am involved in. I sound tired. Oh, you don't say that to women, right? You sound tired, you look tired, or whatever. I don't care, it's fine. I'm not though, so that's bad, because I need to fix that, because I'm not actually tired. You guys want to talk about Lulu? Yes, we can talk about Lulu. I will play one more track and we'll come back and we'll talk about Lulu, because she's settling in pretty good. You don't say that to streamers, because we are tired. We're constantly fucking tired. We just bleed out our lives for you. All right, so I do want to play you guys another awesome fucking track. I want to play a track by one of my favorite synthwave artists, who is Droid Bishop. And he just released a new track called Dancing in the Darkness, and I thought about playing it for you guys. And then I said, fuck that shit. I am going to play you something from an older album, and this is a really classic album that was kind of part of some of the emergence of the synthwave sound. It's an album called Retro Future, obviously, right? And so when we think of, the sort of 80s aspect of the retro future. It's the palm trees, it's the Lambos, it's these sort of like slick technological devices in the, wearing our sunglasses at night while, blazing along on a laser cycle a la Tron. That retro future vibe is so strong. It's such a like deeply embedded aesthetic in us. And part of sort of all of the symbols and design choices that have become synonymous with the retro future were from this time period. This album was made in 2013. And the idea of the retro future was something that was really becoming desirable. So many of us are looking forward at better technology, cooler things, sort of this life that is entwined and made better with technology, but also stuff that we really loved that we're nostalgic for from the 80s, big hair and pastel colors and weird geometric shapes and, big malls and neon signs and somehow kind of smashing all these things together. And that's what was happening right around this. So Droid Bishop made this fucking awesome track around 2013. And there was this really cool compilation around the retro future. And I'm going to play it for you guys. I'm going to play it for you. And it is a reference to one of my favorite all-time movies, also from that period in the 80s. Also from that idea of the retro future. We've talked about Running Man on this show before, right? Maddie Devine. Here's the thing. You will laugh about yes, Hawaiian shirts. Absolutely. And I was born in the 80s. Yes, I was. I grew up on all this. Yes, spandex and parachute pants. Fabulous. Oh, gosh. Running Man. Think about Running Man. Running Man was made in the 80s. It had all those bits and pieces of 80s aesthetic, but it was the 80s idea of what a dystopian techno future was going to look like, right? And I mean, think about some of the imagery in the Running Man. I'm sorry, I love Running Man. Now we're on this topic. It's going to happen. You had, shoulder pads at least. Think about some of the, think about some of the guys who are chasing Arnold around, like the guy, the opera guy, or the electric opera guy with his cool, crazy, like, helmet covered in like a mohawk of LEDs that when he sang opera, he would fucking shoot lightning out of his fingers to electrocute people. Like, there was such a strong design aesthetic, and it was the familiar and the cool paired up with the incredible and bizarre and high tech. And Running Man really encapsulated that because it also kind of encapsulated our fears of too much surveillance, of an overreaching government, of a mainstream media that became sort of synonymous with the way that we handle societal problems. Yeah, Running Man was a great documentary. We're kind of headed in that direction, aren't we? It's true. Many smarter people than me have talked about Running Man. I'm a drunk bitch who thinks that whole movie is just a joy. But, we're starting to see this reflected in the way that we consume and produce streaming content, in the things that keep our attention. When we think about sort of violence in media being one of those things that we pretend to hate, but we can't look away, all of these things that kind of the interplay of Running Man is right now. And we're still in that intersection of retro and future. So the reason that all of this has come up, and we can continue to talk about Running Man if you want, is because this track by Droid Bishop is called Days of the Running Man, off an album called Retro Future. And it's fucking awesome. And I'm going to put it in your ears here on CyberBuzz Radio. I'm Crimson Clad, and every week I do this. I just ramble on about shit that everybody knows. Oh, this track's good. All right, there you go. Days of the Running Man by Droid Bishop. A perfect fit for today's show. So, hey, my name is Crimson Cloud. If you're one of the newbies today, I'm so fucking stoked to have you, and I hope you'll come out for maybe some of the other entertainment that I do, or check out some other different MSP Waves DJs. Long and the short of it is, can't leave, all the plants will die. Ain't that the truth? I'm a crazy plant lady, and I am fine. Yeah, you know what? I think a lot of people feel like that, Farticus, honestly. A lot of us that are from that time period, or even like late 70s, the 80s was this really magical space. It was different, 60s had a lot of sort of civil unrest and was focused on community and society and family values. And then there was kind of pushback against that. And then you had the 70s and everything was sort of natural and organic. And the pushback against that came in the form of the 80s. We want bright colors. We want crazy pastels. We want geometric, unnatural shapes. We want cool technology and long nights and great drugs and neon signs and just... There was something about the 80s that was the first time that all of these things came together. We always say things go in cycles, and it's true. Because even now, especially now, the 90s, yeah, everything in the 80s, throw that shit out. We hate it. And then, the 2000s came along and it was throw the 90s shit out. But we're going to embrace some of the 60s and 70s stuff. And now we're in sort of the 2010s. And that was like, throw that shit out and kind of move to the late 70s and 2020s. Here we are. We're embracing a lot of the stuff that the 80s brought around the first time. But the 80s was sort of the first combination where technology was really taking off. And a lot of the stuff that we love that kind of, yeah, agreed. So you're an 86 baby. I'm an 85 baby. And so we're kind of right in the middle of it because we were young. We were not quite, like Julia was kind of more towards the start of the 80s. And there were lots of kids who grew up in the 80s and towards like 88, 89, this sort of really formative time period for pop culture. We're a little older and we're a little more steeped in it. But it doesn't matter because it's still such a recognizable time for us, these 90s, 80s and 90s kids. But you had tapes and you had portable technology and you had all of these things that 82, okay, listen, so we're a bunch of 80 babies up in here, and I know quite a few people in chat are as well, and some of you are 80s at heart, and that's all that matters. And some of you are Uncle Bonehead. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Got him. I'm sorry, Boner. But, so here we were. This was this really interesting time period that wasn't like any other time period. You know what I mean? And it really did centralize around sort of a rapid development of technology and very specific types of technology, personal technology, not just technology in industry, not just technology in transport, but technology. Yes, I had the Sony Sport cassette Walkman, the yellow one with the piece that snapped up over, because obviously you're worried about your cassette leaping out and falling into a ditch or something. And Iowa, you are a discerning customer. But, there was so much going on in the 80s, and it was a different sort of start to a new era. It was a lot of, pushback against previous ones, which it always is. Every new cycle is a rejection of the cycle before it, even though we just keep repeating the same thing over and over. Time is a flat circle. But the 80s was special. And now, a lot of us who are embracing new technology still really love that feeling because we did live it. We saw the advent of cell phones and we saw the changes in the way that we consumed music or videos, moving even into like out of tapes and into, the 90s where we loved the idea of tapes because they were a step up from 8-tracks, which were a step up from records, and then we moved into the 90s and all of a sudden it's CDs and mini discs and whatever. It's a different time period, and it is driven by our sort of childlike fascination with new technology, and especially new technology that brings us together in social ways. Music, art, pop culture. The 80s was that personified, and we'll never have that quite again. our technical advancement right now is faster and faster and faster and faster. And we're actually hitting a plateau based solely on what we can do with hardware and software, I guess, to some degree. Yes, I had a Discman. I had the blue one with the 30-second anti-skip. It did not anti-skip anything. It was a piece of trash. But I still have it around somewhere because I love it. And actually, you guys can't see, but just off camera here, someday I'll make a second camera angle. I have a console full of consoles. So I have an old Atari up here. I have a PlayStation. I have a Nintendo. I have a bunch of shit over here because I love it. Yeah, I'll skip all the time. Hey, Mariano, good to see you. So anyways, the long and the short of it is, I think of a lot of us do kind of wish that a lot of the things happening in the 80s that shaped us as people and probably shaped why we embrace technology now, kind of wish some of that would stick around. I'm not going to lie. I like a lot of the things that have been created since the 80s, and I'm a big fan of the fact that we have these things. But, overall, it's good. So, CyberBuzz Radio, this is basically the kind of stuff we talk about. We talk about the retro future. Oh, that's good. Let's go full something about Mary, which is, I'm pretty sure, showing our age as 80s children of just being appropriately aged to have watched this terrible movie. So we'll rock that. But spunk and jizz bottles aside, there are a lot of reasons that CyberBuzz exists. And a lot of it really is, in my soul, I am an artistic lady who loves the idea. I do. I'll listen. I mean, look here. Let's see. What can we grab for you guys? Here's an old... Oh, I have a Genesis in here, too. Here's an old PlayStation. Jammer of a PlayStation. Kicking it. Oh, this one is not my modded one. I actually modded... this was one of my first experiences with soldering. I learned to mod this console so I could play Dance Dance Revolution, a burned game of Dance Dance Revolution. You know what? I'm going to stop talking before I implicate myself any further. There's a Dreamcast in here too. Jesus, a Genesis and a Dreamcast. So, whatever. We've lost the plot talking about why we like the 80s and why we like retro future. But I solidly believe that a lot of the reasons that I'm really interested in blockchain technology and I'm really interested in crypto and that I'm that I'm really interested in a lot of the things that I'm interested now, digital collectibles, NFTs, all of the things that we are here on the blockchain doing, NFT showroom and all this stuff, is kind of from the era that I came from. Maybe not. So I'm going to look for a little bit more music. We're actually only got about half an hour left in the show. And I figured what I would end with is I wanted to show you guys a new VR app. It's not that new. Everybody who's VR centric has already seen it. But it's something that I've been holding on to that I've been wanting to share with you guys for a while because I think it's really cool. And we talk on this show a lot and in our group and our core group here works on NFT showroom. We talk about the idea of creation and consumption of digital art a lot. We talk about what makes sort of VR exciting. And I had a GameCube too. I still have a GameCube. And actually one of my cousins worked at EA at the time. So the first GameCube game I had was a James Bond game because he was working on it. I'm trying to remember which one it was. It was a Pierce Brosnan title. It wasn't a good one. It was a shitty game, actually. Huh. I'll ask him. I'll be like, hey, remember that shitty game you worked on? My listeners want to know how shitty you were. Let's continue on. And we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit about that. Like I say, art and VR, and we'll kind of go out with a bang. But we need more music. And one of the things I love, and obviously that we worship a lot on this show, for those of you who are fake newsing or just listening in the background, you just found it. What is it? A Sony WM3000. I'm going to look it up. Oh, Farticus, you're ahead. I do still have the Atari. My Atari was my first console for sure. And Kaboom was my favorite game. The paddles where you... Yeah, it's my favorite game. All right, I'm going to play you this track because Carpenter Brute is this hilarious, fantastic, sort of synonymous artist with synthwave. So Carpenter Brute, if you're not familiar, is a gentleman that came out of the metal scene and came out of sort of the alternative music scene. And even the idea of the name Carpenter Brute, it's a play on John Carpenter movies, horror soundscapes, and he wanted to make this sort of really ham-fisted 80s electronic interpretation of like horror and synthetic guitar sounds. And so Carpenter Brute was actually sort of the side project that was joyful and exuberant and a real fucking send-up, taking the piss, and became kind of like the quintessential synthwave for a long time. If you wanted to know what synthwave was, it was the Midnight, it was Gunship, it was Carpenter Brute. There's like the unholy trinity, as we call it in the metal sphere for the first metal bands. And so I want to play, we usually play Carpenter Brute or Gunship on this show. That's just what we do. But I want to play a remix that just came out, like was just released. And the only reason I saw it is because Carpenter Brute actually tweeted about it the other day. It's from one of the more recent albums. It's a track called Leather Teeth, which is really good, even not the remix. But this is a remixed version of Leather Teeth. It's the, let's just go to it here quickly. It's the Rob DeLarge remix, and it's good. It's dark, it's grimy, it's industrial, it's, you know, if you got lost inside a computer and the computer's trying to kill you, it's a perfect example of that. So I'm going to play that for you guys. I can go get the Atari from the other room if you like. What I might do is try and lure the dogs upstairs. So I will have exactly 5 minutes. I will try and bring the dogs up because you guys are asking. They went to the groomers this morning. So I will get some treats. I will bring it up here. And I will play some goddamn music for you. So here you go. It is a cool remix of Leather Teeth. It is a Carpenter Brute track. My name is Crimson Clad. This is CyberBuzz. And hopefully you are enjoying yourself. I'm happy to have all you guys here. I'm stoked. And we'll try and do a dog update. And we'll recap all the shit we talked about today. Because I'm running out of time with you. How sad. How very sad. All right, let's do it. Let's play some fucking music. Maybe. hoping this fades out. Yeah. All right. So there you go. Welcome. It is the tail end of, for fuck's sake, CyberBuzz Radio. I'm the worst DJ. Hey, World Finances. And we're just hanging out towards the tail end of today's episode. So I disappeared for a second there. I went downstairs. I was trying to get the dogs, and they wanted absolutely nothing to do with it. It's the first time. It's been cool. They were just napping downstairs. Both of them had a hard morning, because it was Murph's day to go to the groomers. And so he, had all the regular dog stuff. I sent him to the groomers because, oh, thank you, Patient Zero. I'm digital and I'm bringing you to me. I'm wafting you all in. But yeah, so normally I do bring the dogs up here, and Murphy often sits in here. But since I've gotten the new dog, she is so reliant on Murphy right now to understand what's safe, what's not. And I don't want to force her to do things that aren't comfortable for her. And she's still a little scared of people. She's still quite shy around me. And I actually took her to the groomers as well this morning, and they were able to cut her nails, which, for those of you who have missed sort of the update, this is not very technical at all, but fuck it, I love my dogs. She came to me from Tehran, which is in Iran. And she never lived in a house, and she was an absolute disaster. And, oh, hey, Bitwave, what up? Hello, my friend. We're just coming for the tail end of CyberBuzz Radio, but I'm glad to have you. Today, we talked a little bit about the Hive blockchain. We talked about transactions coming from Splinterlands. We talked about community code rearrangement to make for better blockchain stability. We moved into talking a little bit about ETH, although not very much. And we kind of took a big side detour into piss bottles for a while, and I kind of forgot what our secondary topic was, to be in all honesty. And then we ended up talking a little bit about retro future and 80s and the sort of informing of our techno aesthetic, and the embrace that a lot of us have for disruptive technology today comes from what we experienced in the 80s. And we did have a little kind of side rant about the government and what crypto was meant to do and what it is doing and how it can make your life better. So, long and the short of it is we've covered a lot of random ground today. And so for those of you who have been here for the full show, I hope it's been fun. If you're here for the last 20 minutes of the show, I do have one more kind of fun. Yeah, piss bottles without Ron. That's how I know you were fake newsing, Clay, because we've been talking about piss bottles for 2 solid hours. But yes, ferrets are so cute. They're so cute. They smell a little bit, but they're adorable. And I love piss bottles. Yeah, Bitwave Ambassador, my man. Somebody had to go pee. They didn't want to leave the chat. We suggested a piss bottle. And everybody just fell straight into the gutter, and we never got back out. It's kind of how my chats go. My community is delightful, but also a disaster. And I am a woman, so believe it or not, I think I have to have, what do you have it, the shiwi, the penis? You have to have some sort of hardware attachment if you want to piss in a bottle. It's a lot of work. I don't know. I've never tried, but I feel like I would get really messy, and I don't want to try. So, if there's a woman out there who's mastered the technique, I guess she's the boss. I know, it's fine. I'm teasing you, Clay. All right, it's 2021. That's right. You don't know. And also, there are no real girls on the internet. So, I mean, to be fair, this is all smoke and mirrors. And actually, one day we did a great show, and I was wearing a bunch of Snapchat filters, and it's shocking. It is shocking what some of those filters can do to you. I mean, yeah. Don't ask, don't tell about my genitalia. No real girls. So, let's swing back around. We've recapped the show, and we've yelled about the government. We've yelled about crypto. We've had a great day. And the quick update on my dogs, because one of them is truckers pee in bottles all the time. That's true. And if you want to learn more about what truckers do and you want to have a good time with a bunch of truckers, then Loud and Proud is another show on MSP Waves. Uncle Bohe is the host. So I took the girl dog. She's from Iran. She's never lived in a house. She's never had anyone love her. She is malnourished. She's terrified of people. And her nails were so long they were hurting her. And her fur was matted, and she was covered in engorged ticks. And it's been a long 3 weeks, and a great 3 weeks, and a horrible 3 weeks in a lot of ways. So the update is she's doing really, really good. And this morning when I took Murphy to the groomers, I actually took Lulu as well. And we attempted to get her nails cut. And it went okay. 2 people basically had to hold her down and calm her and work with her. But her nails have been trimmed now. And the difference is crazy. She's walking more lightly and more sprightly. You can tell she's not hurting anymore. And the process, you know, I've been in rescue long enough that you think you've seen everything, and of course you haven't. But it's really both heartbreaking and fulfilling to see this journey that she's on, to try and trust me. She wants to trust me so badly. So when I say, hey, I'm going to go get the dogs for you guys, and everybody's excited because they want the dogs to lay on the couch and be part of the stream, Lou's not quite there yet. And when she decides to come up here and spend time with me, or if I can do it before a show where I bring her up here in a way that's safe and comfortable and makes her feel good, and then she can hang out with me, that's fine. But, you know, trying to force her up here in the middle of the show, if she doesn't want to come, she doesn't want to come. Turn on TTS. I don't even know how to do that. How do I do that, Bitwave? I will explore it for next show, I promise, because I fucking suck. I don't actually know how to do all the stuff with Trovo. Is that in chat options? Oh no. I don't know. Chat rules, welcome alerts. I'm going to have to do this. Maybe I'll have to ask you, because I don't actually know how to do most of the things on Trovo. You only know how to do it on Bitwave. I don't know what Bitwave is. So why don't you, are you on Discord? You can send me a message about what Bitwave is. I'll look into that too. So the long and the short of it is I tried to lure her up here with a delicious piece of beef liver, but she was having none of it. They're sleeping downstairs. It's been a very hard day for her, her first nail trim. And yeah, she's miserable. Take the suck down a notch. Do I suck? I do suck. It's fine. I don't mind. But yeah, the long and the short of it is she's, where can you get a Discord invite? Minnowpond.org. So anyways, I wish I could have Lulu up here with you. I can't. But one thing I can show you is, if you guys want to, I can share a link to a video of the shelter that she came from in Iran. It's pretty eye-opening. And I know we've talked about that on this show before, is we take for granted living in countries that care about sort of being overrun with stray dogs and have, you know, government and societal programs to take care of strays and to try at least to work on. Maddie, okay, you've missed it. So for those of you who are new, many of you are new, and yes, we will talk about VR. Calm your tits, patient zero. We're talking about my dogs, you bastard. So one of the things is I live for self-deprecating humor. And so on days when I really do suck, it makes me feel more confident. And on days when I'm fucking killing the game, I still make fun of myself because it's hilarious. I suck. It's hilarious. We actually had a term for it. When I fuck up, I crimmed it. I crumbed it. It's crimmed. It's crumbed. Because I'm crummy DJ. You get it? Crimson Clyde? Crummy? Yeah. All right, so yeah, here is a link. If you want to see the shelter that she came from in Tehran, there is a link, and I'm not sure. I don't think that's her in the video right there, but this shelter is actually going to have to be moving. Dogs are not very popular over in Iran, and shelters are not subsidized. They're all private donations and private volunteers, and these guys do really good work, and it's really hard, and they're being kicked out of this location. So I'm thinking... sorry, yeah, I'll write it in here. Minnowpond.org. So the reason that I kind of bring this up is I'm thinking in the next couple weeks I might do a teeny fundraiser because they need a little bit of cash because they're getting kicked out of this location, and they're going to have to find a new one. So there you go. And I will find some Lulu pictures. But I did promise you guys some VR chat before the end of the show, and I do not want to make you sad. So one of the things that we're really focused on is NFTs. They're a huge part of the crypto space right now. You know, we talk about chain of custody. We talk about the idea of ownership and the idea of transaction of value, whatever value is. Some people want to buy art because they want something, number goes up. They think that this artist is going to be worth some money, so they buy the art. Other people want to connect with a creator and pay a creator. Other people want to just own beautiful things and collect things that make them happy. There's all of the myriad reasons that we interact with art or content in the real world. sort of are coming together in, Wax. Okay, so Maddie knows of Wax. You'd probably like Hive as well. And Maddie, with Wax, you could actually play Splinterlands if you were interested in a blockchain gaming. So, there are lots of these connections, this idea of NFTs as art, NFTs as collectibles, NFTs as gaming information, whatever the case may be. And we put together NFT Showroom. But the reason that I bring this up is often on this show, we discuss what is art? Does digital art that is created with software, does that take the soul out of it? Or is it pushing boundaries? Is it helping us sort of redefine what we consider as art? And one of the things, you don't like Hive or Splinterlands. Oh, well, then I'm sorry. But that's where we're broadcasting from right now. I think there are some really good reasons to like Hive. I don't think Number Go Up is one of them. I think there's a lot of ways that Hive can be used to bolster other connections on other blockchains. Wax, I think, is really great. I don't love the custodial aspect to new wallets and sort of some of the hand-holding and centralization that goes on there. But at the same time, there's some really cool focus and partnerships and functions that are happening. At the end of the day, what I'd love, art is everything. You're correct. What I'd love to see is somebody who is, all in on Bitcoin, or somebody who loves ETH, or somebody who is using a blockchain that doesn't have a social side, using some of the aspects of Hive. You use the tools that you have to support the tools that you want to use. Like, Cone-fed Padre. All right, you can shoot me a DM. So I guess the reason that I put this out there is I'm not a Hive maximalist at all, but I see the things that Hive does right, and I would love to see people who are doing cool things in other blockchains that are doing things right. I'd like to see them using the features of Hive to make what they're doing better. So in a lot of cases, what we're seeing is artists are coming from Ethereum. They hate the gas fees, and they have no way to connect with each other on the blockchain. And so we have a lot of artists who create work on Hive and on ETH, and whose main art basics is on the ETH blockchain, but who are creating a tokenized community here on Hive. And it's really fascinating to see the interplay. Or Axie Infinity, one of the biggest blockchain games in the world. The game is not on Hive, but they've built a community on Hive. And they're using the tools that are available to them to just build the strongest decentralized community and decentralized features that they can. And that's it. So I don't care. I don't want your money. I don't care what you spend your money on. I don't care where your money in crypto goes. That's not why I talk about Hive often on this show. But the community that we've built and the way that we are embracing this technology, we happen to be using Hive because it's best suited for this kind of streaming and engaging. So, yeah, and you're not an ETH guy either. So that's interesting. Are you BTC and Wax? What a combo. In any case, we're going to get distracted. So here's the VR program that I was going to talk with you guys about, because digital art is very cool. Making digital art is very cool. I'm going to show you, I'm going to connect you to the Twitter. They look like oiseau, which is bird in French, but it's not. It's ozoi. Oizoi. Oizoi. Oops, that's racist. Can't do that. But here, let me pop it in the chat. So this studio, they created something called Painting VR, which doesn't sound very new or original, but I've been watching an incredibly cool video of someone demonstrating this and then connecting this back. I believe they're selling this on the Tezos chain, I think, but let me copy the link for you. So somebody who is creating art and creating NFTs, but they're also creating, works for the most people and costs the least to get involved. Yeah, maybe. Oiseau. Yeah, but that's not oiseau. If you look at how oiseau, the bird, is spelled in French, that's not it. Look at O-I-S-O-I. It's not the same. It's not oiseau. It's something else. So I don't know how to say it. But in any case, so here's the really cool thing, is they've created the painting that is the symbol of the NFT. But when you buy the NFT, you're also buying the process video, which is a picture-in-picture dual video of the artist creating the art in VR. And so this whole thing is completely ethereal. Yes, exactly. There's oiseau, but that's not how the studio is spelled. You guys are killing me. In any case, so this is a fascinating thing. This art has never tangibly existed, and yet here is a number of tangible things. You know, the VR headset, this person is moving around in physical space. They're filming themselves in physical space, creating a digital asset, and the video from inside the VR headset is a video of a space that does not exist, and they are creating a painting using tools that are completely ephemeral inside the metaverse, if you want to call it that, inside sort of the VR digital space. So it's layers and layers of meta that are going into what adds value to this art. Yeah, and you know what? I kind of we started off mostly talking about Hive. The show's evolved because, you know, at first all I was doing was talking about sort of the technical aspects of it, how you know, a block production node works all the way through to, you know, how an individual transaction is broadcast. And there are so many good things about Hive. There's so many shitty things about Hive. And the reality is you use the aspects of it you want and you leave the rest. And that's all of blockchain. There are things that I hate about ETH. There are things that I hate about Bitcoin, you know, but there are things that Hive can do that no one else can do. And those things are great. And I embrace them. So that's all. Doesn't matter. I'm not here to convert you. I really don't care. But so anyways, coming back to this, knowing that I only have a few minutes left in the show, this process video and this painting is incredibly meta because you have the physical person with the physical headset and you have a video of what it takes in terms of a physical movement to create then a digital product, a digital environment, a digital painting, a representation of those physical movements taken into a digital form, digital paints, digital spray paint, digital brushes. And then you also, beyond that, have the piece of art itself, that flat, static image, that capturing of the picture from this artist's brain put here for you. And I love this idea. And so the more that I explore this, Hive is run by whales now. I mean, no, I'm not sure. That sounds like just somebody who doesn't like POS. I have a lot of, this is such a great topic and one we just have no fucking time for. So don't think I'm ignoring you, Maddie. It's just, boy, oh boy, we could have such a great philosophical discussion on this. And my friend, it would take a whole lot longer than 4 minutes and 22 seconds. But in the long and the short of it, you guys know I really do love VR. I love the aspects of it. And we talk about sometimes the downsides of VR here. We always talk about sort of the scary corporate intersection or the loss of humanity and reality. I mean, VR is a topic that we come to on CyberBuzz a lot, where we talk about, you know, why are we drawn to VR? What's bad about it? What's a cautionary tale about it? And it's a fascinating topic, but something like this, I love. I love the idea of someone who's too scared to create art in real life. And you're going to be like, nobody's like that, Crim. But the answer is absolutely. People are terrified by art. People are too scared to pick up a marker and draw because a marker is permanent on paper and they might not be good at it, or they don't have anything to say they don't think, or people are too scared to go out and spend money on paints because what am I going to do with it? I'll just throw it away. It's going to be bad. No one wants it. And you know what? It's messy. I don't want to. There are aspects to digital art and the VR space that are incredibly liberating because, you know, we talk about people with imagination and we talk about this ability to do things in your head, and that's only for you. But you're still sort of stuck in your head. And the idea of taking those images and interacting with them in a physical space that feels physical to you, but that doesn't exist, is an incredible thing. And so now we've got art being tied into that. And so if you're too scared to go outside, to try skydiving, to paint a picture that you're embarrassed that anybody else will see because it's something that means to you, but you know, you never want somebody to see it committed to paper, VR has become this space where, you know, maybe you're in this tiny little room that's gray and you're too scared to express yourself through art, but you pop on a headset and all of a sudden you are graffitiing a wall with your innermost dreams and the things that you wish you could say. There's some really fascinating, freeing aspects to VR that come up on this show a lot. The flip side of it is there are people who disappear into VR and never come back, and they lose the ability to sort of communicate on a human level because they're so involved at the technical level. And, I don't know what that balance looks like. That's kind of what CyberBuzz is about. But I did want to kind of share that one more time because it's such a cool intersection of all these technologies, of the idea of an NFT, of what creates value, what gives art value, what makes an artist an artist. Why do we pay for things using cryptocurrency? All of these weird, interesting aspects come together in this idea. Hi, Arthur. So I'm just throwing that out there for you guys for the end of the show. We are coming to the end of the show today. I want to thank all of you. And, Maddie was saying you've talked to me more than you should. No. My radio shows, my live streams, however you're watching this, listening to this, they go out on tons of platforms. You might be listening to this later on YouTube on demand or, as a podcast or whatever. They're conversations with real people because that's what's interesting. And these topics that I love, they're music picks that I love. And you are people involved in the communities that I love. And we put together these stupid, meaningless shows that also are incredibly social and incredibly meaningful. And maybe, just maybe, a tiny bit entertaining. So we talked about a lot of stuff today, from, technical aspects of the Hive blockchain, full blocks, how transactions are broadcasted, came all the way through government control, piss bottles, Ethereum, digital art, and a whole lot of synthwave. My name is Crimson Clad, and I'm coming to the end of the show for CyberBuzz. Bye-bye. And for those of you who are watching on streams and around, I'd love if you'd come back next week. And if you want to learn more, I am working on a bunch of stuff to kind of help branch out each of the shows because they're so different. CyberBuzz today is about disruptive tech and dirty neon and synthwave music. But Full Force Radio on Thursday nights, Friday mornings is heavy metal and sass talk and, just ridiculous, loud, exuberant times. And they're very different feels. And other times I'm out there advocating for cryptocurrency, for decentralized technology, and I'm trying to connect people with technology that will make their lives better. And I'm trying to do a lot of teaching. And all of these things are completely different. So I'm trying to help build out different websites so that if you are interested in one of these topics, but not all, you have that option. But if you want to hang out with me some more, well, find a place that you like watching and come back again. I'd love to have you. In any case, it is the end of the day for me. I'm going to go downstairs and spend some time with those poor dogs that I traumatized. I will see you guys not